Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube, Iyun with Benzion. We're starting a new parak today, the fourth parak of Kesubos, Daf Mem Beis. I want to start off with the Mishnah on Mem Aleph from the Beis, which makes a very important distinction about Hamada B'din. It's called Hamada B'din, right? Technically, you're chayav a knas for onus and pitur, like we said in the last parak. If you rape a girl or you're a mafadi seducer, you pay to the father. And in addition to Bosh's Begam, you pay a knas of 50 silver coins, 200 zuzim, 200 dinarim. That money you have to pay to the father. The Gemara talks about what technically happens, right? They come to court, right? The father comes to court, he brings a lawsuit that this man raped his daughter. And based on Amda B'din, it says in the Mishnah. Amda B'din means it stood up in court. I would think the simple explanation of Amda B'din means that it was brought before the court. The lawsuit came in front of a court, and they actually appeared in court. That's what I would say. They appeared in court. It doesn't imply it should say Ashenigmara Hadin. If it meant to say there was a psak din of Beis Din, it should really say Ashenigmara Hadin. However, it's clear from the Gemara. It's clear from the Gemara that from the Mishnah also that Amda B'din really seemingly means that there's a psak din also, and that's the way ours called. They say two things. There's a lawsuit and there was a Gemara din also. It's a little strange because the Mishnah is Amda B'din. They just came in front of a court. Even if you want to say it's not just a lawsuit, actually they appeared in court and had a trial over here, right? They're discussing it in court, so that's enough. That's important in the halacha over here, and Mahalos in Rosh Shimon and the Rabbanan, because if there's Hamada B'din, right? So once it's Hamada B'din, according to the Rabbanan, then already it turns into money of the father. In which case, if the father were to die or she become a bogeres, right, which normally would go to her, it doesn't go to her because it already belonged to the father, and therefore, who gets the money if the father dies? The brothers, his inheritors, his sons, and not the daughter. However, if the father died or she became a bogeres before the Hamada B'din, then it would belong to her. Reb Shimon says no. Even if there is Hamada B'din, even if it was brought in front of a court, it doesn't make a difference. And seemingly, even if based in Paskin already that it belongs to the father does not own that yet until the collection, and therefore, if the father were to die, it would still go to her according to Reb Shimon, unless there's a collection over it by the father. While they collected, then it's in his bank account. Then when he dies, it goes to his sons, the inheritors. So I think we have to get more into this in tomorrow's daf. But I think Hamada B'din, whether it's actually just appearing in front of court or whether there's a Gemara din, it's dependent on what we talked about yesterday, Hamada B'knas Pater. Because really what's going on over here is, according to the Rabbanan, once it's Hamada B'din, it becomes mammon. It transfers from being a knas, a fine, into mammon, right? Once it comes in front of court, it becomes mammon. Now, usually you would say it becomes mammon once there's a psak din. Beis Din says you're chayav to pay. Now it's no longer a knas, no longer a theoretical fine. It's actually money that this rapist owes the father of the girl. So you would probably think Hamada B'din means the Gemara din. However, the lusha of the Mishnah, Hamada B'din, sounds like they just came in front of court. So I'd like to suggest maybe it doesn't mean Hamada B'din. They actually came in front of court. It wasn't just a lawsuit. They came in front of court. However, there was no Gemara din. There was no ruling in the court yet that they should have to pay. However, it's dependent. When does it come on? It depends on the din of Moda B'knas Pater. Moda B'knas Pater means I admit to a knas on Pater. Now, does that mean the Gemara Baba Kama talks about? Does it mean that right? The Gemara says if you saw Adam coming that are going to testify against you and you go to court before them, right? That's already not Moda B'knas maybe because you did it based on the Adam anticipation that Adam are going to testify against you. So I think the Gemara in Baba Kama even says that. So you have to come to court on your own volition before there's even Adam, right, trying to testify against you. So I would say like this, I think it's clear from the Gemara in Baba Kama that once it comes in court and you're standing in a trial over here, there's no more din of Moda B'knas Pater. If there's no more din of Moda B'knas Pater, right, it's not called a knas anymore. The reason Moda B'knas is Pater is because it's called a knas still, and therefore if you admit to a knas, Ashir Shin Elokim, Prat Marshia Atzmo, if you marshir yourself, right, you come to court before, you can pater yourself from the knas, you exempt yourself from the knas. But once you come into trial in front of court, and they brought you into front of court, and you're standing in front of court already, maybe the din of knas doesn't apply anymore. It doesn't apply anymore, so it's already considered mammon, even though Hamada B'din. You don't need a psak din of Beis Din. As long as there's already a trial going on, and there's discussion, you would not be able to pater yourself in Hamada B'knas Pater, and therefore it's considered mammon already, and therefore the Mishnah is Hamada B'din. We'll talk more about this in the coming dapim. Hope you enjoy. See you in the next one.